I can't figure it out, Peace. And if they're just playing somebody else's video,
which in many regards I think they are.
Absolutely. Absolutely they are. Some crap they probably downloaded from some NPR stuff, you know? Who knows? But you're right. Lots of people there.
Oh, Joel Phelan. Hey, Joel Phelan's pointing out. We finally got this creepy little coffee mug.
Yay!
Thank you, Joel Phelan. Yeah, I pinned the showcase the Burning of Alexandria mug up at the top of the chat tonight. It's one of my personal favorites. Ginger, Viking, Jesus says, I'm pretty sure I count as 4 weirdos. So at least you've got that going for you. Yeah, it's right. Yeah, definitely Ginger. You definitely count as 4 weirdos.
Oh, we love you, though. We love our Ginger.
So yeah, Gotham Monsters. Where do we start? Where do we begin? I like to take it back to as ancient as it goes. I like to go to the Greeks and the Egyptians and such. So, lots of interesting Greek gods. Ones that we don't hear about so much, like Achelios, the patron god of the Achelios River. Alastor, the god of family feuds. Anthea, goddess of gardens, flowers, swamps, and marshes. It's usually the big ones you hear about. Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty. Apollo, god of the sun and music, healing and hurting. Ares, the god of chaotic war. Artemis, goddess of the moon, hunting and nursing. Asclepius, god of health and medicine. Athena, goddess of wisdom, poetry, art, and the strategic side of war. Athena is a personal favorite of mine. She is the Greek goddess of war and wisdom, among other things. Was one of the most powerful of all the Greek gods and goddesses in Greek mythology. Athena was one of the many daughters of the king of the gods Zeus, but she was the only one Zeus actually birthed himself. It was said that her mother was Metis, the Titan goddess of wisdom, and Zeus' original wife. To understand how she could have a mother but be born solely from her father required a little backtracking in Greek mythology. Zeus came to power by overthrowing his father Cronus. Cronus' mother, the great earth goddess Gaia, foretold a prophecy that one of Cronus' children would eventually overthrow him and take control of both the gods and men alike. Cronus decided the solution to this problem was to devour each and every one of his children. Eventually, his wife Rhea couldn't take it anymore and gave him a stone wrapped in a baby blanket, which he promptly swallowed, thus saving her last son Zeus from this terrible fate. Eventually, Zeus fulfilled the prophecy by overthrowing his father and splitting him open, which is how the rest of Cronus and Rhea's children came spilling out. Zeus became king of the gods and men, and the days where the Titans ruled were done. Now, what does this have to do with Athena? Well, it turned out Gaia had another prophecy once Zeus became an adult. She foretold that his wife Metis would first give birth to a powerful daughter, then he'd give birth to a son who would overthrow Zeus the way he overthrew his father. Knowing this, Zeus devoured Metis while she was still pregnant with their daughter to avoid their son ever being born. His plan worked in that he never had a son by Metis. What Zeus did realize was that his daughter by Metis was more strong-willed than he imagined. After a bout of terrible headaches, Zeus finally begged the blacksmith god Hephaestus to split his head open with an axe to relieve the pressure. Out popped the goddess Athena, fully dressed in armor and ready to do battle. The story of her birth offers great insight into the goddess herself. The multifaceted Athena, the goddess of war, wisdom, poetry, artisans, craftwork, and intellect, was as strong-willed and powerful as her great-grandmother Gaia had predicted. She was well known to be Zeus's favorite daughter, and was forever loyal to her father no matter what he got himself into. It may seem contradictory for the goddess of art and wisdom to also be the goddess of war, but in this case it made sense. Another son of Zeus, Ares, was also a god. The term war meant two entirely gods. Ares was the god of chaotic battle, bloodlust, ferocity, courage, and violence. On the other hand, Athena was the goddess of strategy, or organized fighting, advanced weaponry, and skill manipulation. If Ares was offensive, Athena was defensive. If Ares represented pure force, Athena represented controlled strength. The two were not enemies by any means, but warriors would often choose one side or the other to prey to their favorite one, depending on their positions in battle and the style they choose to fight with. Athena was involved in human affairs and often took sides in great battles, such as Greece versus Troy. She always took a cunning strategic point of view, though, making her a powerful ally in any war. In modern language, Athena, the Greek goddess of war, is less fitting than Athena, the Greek goddess of wisdom, even in reference to her role in battles. It was her wisdom and strategic planning that often turned the tide of every battle to the victor. It is probably obvious that the name Athena is similar to the famous Greek capital city of Athens. This is no coincidence. Originally, Athens was founded as Attica, and both Athens and the great sea god Poseidon both wanted to be patron gods of the city. They both gave the gift to the city in order to earn a patron. First, Poseidon used his mighty trident to create a spring in the middle of the city, which flowed into the sea, giving the Atticans a direct line to the water. In response, Athena created an olive tree in the city center, which provided food, wood, and oil in endless supply. Seeing the great benefit of the tree over that of the ocean stream, the people of Attica chose Athena as their patron god and changed the name of the city to Athens. The goddess of war and wisdom shows up in many myths, including the tapestry contest with the mortal Archene and the transformation of the maiden Medusa into the hideous Gorgon. Athena also plays a large role in Homer's legendary epic, The Odyssey. So yeah, Athena, Greek goddess of wisdom. Like I said, a personal favorite. Everybody knows of Atlas, the primordial Titan, an ancient, he was Titan, the ancient cast of gods and goddesses who ruled the universe before the more recent Olympic gods took control. It was Atlas who led the charge as the Titans fought the Olympic gods for control of the universe and lost. Atlas and his brother Menoetus fought on the side of the Titans, while their older brothers Prometheus and Epimetheus took the side of the Olympians. After the Titans' defeat at the hands of Zeus and company, Atlas was punished by being forced to stand on the western edge of the world and hold up the weight of the heavens on his shoulders. Modern interpretations often depict Atlas holding the earth on his shoulders. This is a common misconception, and likely confused because we often think of the enduring symbol of Atlas synonymously with the idea of carrying the weight of the world on one back. As a Greek god, Atlas naturally had specialties he taught to other gods and some humans. Before the weight of the heavens was resting on his shoulders, Atlas was fittingly a god of astronomy. Because humans used this knowledge to improve navigation, agricultural, or general understanding of the stars, Atlas was a figure of great importance. As his students watched the stars move across the sky, they also assumed it was great and mighty Atlas who must cause the stars to rotate across the sky. Atlas tried to ease his burden when he met Hercules during the hero's 12 labors. According to Greek mythology, Atlas was asked by Hercules for help completing one of his tasks, taking apples from the tree in the garden of Hesperides. The tree was famously guarded by the great python Ladon, the dragon. The garden itself was tended to by none other than Atlas's own daughter, the Hesperides. Therefore, Hercules suggested that Atlas go to the garden for him and fetch the apples from his daughters, thus avoiding dealing with Ladon. In exchange, Hercules would hold up the heavens for Atlas while he was gone. According to Greek mythology, Atlas retrieved the apples for Hercules and then had an idea. He suggested to the young hero that he deliver the apples himself. In the mind of Atlas, if he could leave Hercules there with the burden of carrying the sky and make a clean break. Hercules sensed the trick was behind this offer, so he agreed so long as Atlas could hold up the sky again while he fixed his cloak around his shoulders to ease the burden. Atlas agreed and took the sky back, only to watch Hercules grab the apples and run away. There's another myth, though, that suggests that Hercules had his conscience get the better of him, so he built 2 pillars near Atlas that held up the sky for him, giving the much maligned Titan the rest he deserved. Well, I'd like to think he gave him a break, rather than took his apples and ran off.
Does it say he was a snake or a dragon? Or both?
A python named Lodon.
A python?
Yeah.
But you did say dragon and snake did the same. I mean, both, right? Okay.
He's a python.
Python. Well, python's a snake.
The
So
great python Ladon the dragon.
it's confusing. I understand why you like Latina though. She was born ready.
Mhm.
Popped out, full armor. Your first words are probably like, "Come on!"
Yeah, so
Original badass bitch.
I'm trying to remember if they had like an Athena character in Xena. I'm sure they did.
They had to have, right?
They had pretty much everybody else, right?
Yeah, I don't remember
they
either.
must have.
Yeah, they had to have. Of course, I didn't watch all the. I enjoyed it, but I didn't watch all the episodes. You know, it was a great like afterward thing to watch.
Wasn't it on like Saturday afternoons or something? Like, well, it was in syndication too. So.
Yeah, I guess I watched it on reruns. I guess
Mm.
what channel it was, but it was like always like
It was a syndication channel only thing. Yeah, I watched them all on DVD after watching a few here and there, and then I never watched them again. I don't think it holds up very well, but I don't know.
It's popular though.
Oh, I like it.
Went
I've got
in,
them all
or-
on DVD. I just haven't watched them in years
Yeah.
since I got them on DVD. So,
Okay.
God, it's gonna be 15 years now.
Xena is a character on Xena.
Okay.
She's very buxom.
Mm.
Very buxom lass.
Which one? They all were, weren't they? Most
Yeah.
of 'em.
Yeah, that was when you were allowed to be attractive on television
Yeah, exactly.
without offending somebody who isn't.
Yeah, they have boobs, big busty boobs. It was okay. It's not offensive then. So.
Well, it's not offensive now. It's just it's only offensive to people jealous of it,
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
or offended on behalf of somebody who might be jealous.
Right.
Jealous sons of bitches, bastard ass
Right.
bitches.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not even gay, but I can appreciate a beautiful woman. You know.
Exactly. I mean, what's it to you? What's that take
Right.
away from you?
Nothing. You shouldn't compare yourself to other people, I guess. Maybe what they're doing. I can't have boobs like that. That hurts my feelings.
Yeah, and you know what? She doesn't have whatever special thing you have.
Exactly. If you have anything special, right?
They usually don't. They'll have a pronoun in place of their personality.
Exactly. But yeah, it was a fun series, I think. What I got to watch of it. What was her sidekick's name?
Oh,
Gabrielle.
Gabrielle, thank you.
Yeah, and Xena.
Alright, sorry, Pete. Yeah, Princess Warrior.
the Princess Warrior. Oh! Did she have a battle cry or something? Did she like, ay, 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 ay?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was Warrior Princess.
Well, it's like I appreciate her like probably like guys appreciate, Superman and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like it would be cool to be her,
Exactly.
Power fantasy.
Automated flight control.
Joseph Aldrin for $1.99. Thank you, Joseph Aldrin. Much appreciated. Joseph Aldrin says Artemis statues sometimes have like 18 bobs. Sometimes they do have 18
Access
bobs.
granted. Proceed to landing pad 04.
You figure they could do with 9 bigger, floppier bobs, but 18 bobs it is.
We love you, Joseph.
Landing gear deployed.
The better than a boob have a statue with 18 pairs of boobs. That's how the old song went, right? The Billy Joel one?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, that was it. You got it.
So there's the Atropos. The Atropos is one of the three goddesses of fate and destiny. Her Roman equivalent was Morta. Astropos was one of the oldest of the three fates and was known as the inflexible one. It was Atropos who chose the mechanism of death and ended the life of mortals by cutting their threads. She worked along with her two sisters, Clotho, who spun the thread, and Lachesis, who measured the thread. Atropos has been featured in several stories, such as the Atlantean and Achilles. So one sister measures the thread, one sister spins the thread, the other sister cuts the thread, and that's your life.
You do not want to run into them women. Hell no.
Her origin, with that of the other two fates, is uncertain. Some call them the daughters of the night. It is clear, however, that at a certain point they ceased to be unconcerned with death, and also became those powers who decided what may happen to individuals. Although Zeus was the chief god and their father, he was still subject to the decisions of the fates, and thus the executor of destiny rather than its source. According to Hesiod's Theogony, Astropos and her sisters, Clotho and Lachesis, were daughters of Erebus, darkness, and Nyx, night, and sisters to Thanatos and Hypnos. Though later in the same work, they are said to have been of Zeus and Themis.
Confusing.
These gods generally have confusing lineages, but Thanatos is the personification of death. Hypnos is the personification of sleep.
How
So
many-
the fates are the daughters of darkness and night, and sisters to death and sleep.
How many daughters was Zeus supposed to have? Does it ever say that, or no?
I'm not sure. Let's see. Let's just find out.
Okay.
How many daughters did Zeus have? Okay. Zeus had 54 children.
Giggity.
31 by divine unions, including the three graces.
Okay. So he spread it around, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Yes.
Well, I mean, how many kids did Genghis Khan have?
Becca, good point.
Very good.
And I think Zeus was around a lot longer, so. Good point.
Zeus, you also have to get into this like whole philosophical concept of whether or not these things were actual entities.
Mm-hmm.
Whether these were thought forms like tulpas that were believed into existence by the fact that people believed into them. Whether they were pagan deities who would be relegated to demons later on like Christianity, and they were that such in their nature in the first place. You know.
Yeah.
So there is some question there. Like, what are we talking about the nature of these creatures? Jared Centerfold asks, wait, if they're gods, where are they now? And that's a good question. If they're gods, where are they now? You know, I mean, there's still people that worship these pantheons, too. You know, there are still pagans out there to this day that worship these various pantheons.
I find that really interesting. I think some type of faith or religion, though, is important to human beings for some reason, you know? Seems like somebody's always worshiping something. It's just the way we're built, I guess. We gotta have something to say that something's in control of all this shit.
I think a lot of it's just trying to make sense of random misfortune.
Yeah. Exactly, Mecca.
You know, bad things happen to good people all the time, and
Yep.
good things happen to good things happen to bad people. So
Mm,
life isn't
yeah,
fair. Nobody guaranteed. No, nobody's ever said it was supposed to be.
mm-mm. Nope.
And people need to look to religion to kind of, well, oh, there's a plan. There's a reason for this. Well, maybe there's not.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, ultimately, it's decisions that you make.
Bo Rai Chow wins for $4.99 asks a very good question, and thank you, Bo Rai Chow wins, much appreciated. Is there some kind of apocalypse ending in the Greek mythology? Well,
Yeah.
apocalypse itself is a Greek word. It comes from apocalyptos, which is Greek for revealing. That's where we get apocalypse from, revelation. That's what it is.
Okay.
So but if you're talking about a specific eschatology where like the Greeks had this belief in end times, like the way the Norse had Ragnarok and the way the Judeo-Christian religions have, their various beliefs concerning the end times. As far as I can tell, there is no ancient Greek eschatology regarding the end of their gods, the end times of their civilizations, or anything like that. Maybe the philosophers touched on that, but there seems to be nothing in their religion that would indicate such. But that's just from a quick glance here, trying to find an answer to the question now. But these apocalyptic texts were popular in the early Christian period, and that we're talking about a lot of Hellenized Jews at the time. So you had a lot of people that were converting that were Greeks, that spoke Greek, that wrote in Greek. Greek was a common language of commerce and trade. So I mean, it was a language that was used. But there were, the pseudepigraphal and the apocryphal texts that are also popular books of eschatology. The Revelation of Moses,
Oh yeah.
and books like that.
Have you read that?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so.
No.
Ship restraints disengaged. Commence departure.
Yeah, I think we talked about a bunch of those different Revelation books. We did pseudepigraphal and apocryphal video last week.
Yeah, I don't doubt that.
Yeah, but eschatology in general seems to be very isolated to monotheistic religions, excluding like the Old Norse religions and Hinduism and Buddhism.
Hinduism's interesting.
Oh, very much so. It's influenced by this old Vedic pantheon that Zoroastrianism is influenced by as well. Proto-Indo-Euro tribes and their religions were they're just subject of great fascination. Where did they come from?
Disengaging automation.
4, 3,
Yeah, that's like the main thing. How did they come up with everything look like? What arms they had, what color they were. It's just from somebody's imagination, or what?
Who knows?
You know what I mean? Who did they actually see this? Who knows that too? Maybe there were aliens here.
So,
Hindu stories are
one of my other favorite characters from Greek legend is the sorceress Circe, an enchantress in Greek mythology. She is the daughter of the god Helios, and either the oceanic nymph Perseus or the goddess Hecate. Circe was renowned for her vast knowledge of potions and herbs, One of her Homeric epithets is polypharmacos, knowledge of many drugs or charms. Through the use of these magic, these and a magic wand or staff, she would transform her enemies or those who offended her into animals. The best known of her legends is told in Homer's Odyssey when Odysseus visits her island of Aeneas on the way back from the Trojan War, and she changes most of his crew into swine. He manages to persuade her to return them to human shape, living with her for a year and has sons by her, including Latinus and Telganus. Her ability to change others into animals is further highlighted in the story of Picus, an Italian king whom she turns into a woodpecker for resisting her advances. Another story makes her fall in love with the sea god Galapus, who prefers the nymph Scalia to her. In revenge, Circe poisoned the water in which her rival bathed and turned her into a dreadful monster. Depictions, even in classical times, wandered away from the details in Homer's narrative, which is later to be reinterpreted morally as a cautionary story against drunkenness. Even philosophical questions were also raised whether to change from a reasoning beast to a beast was not preferable at all. This paradox was to have a powerful impact during the Renaissance. Circe was also taken as the archetype of the predatory female. In the eyes of those for whom in later age, this behavior made her notorious both as a magician and as a type of sexually free woman. And as such, she's been frequently depicted in all arts from the Renaissance down to modern times. Western paintings established a visual iconography for the figure, but also went for inspiration to other stories concerning Circe that appear in Ovid's Metamorphoses. The episodes of Scalia and Picus are added of the vice and jealousy, of violent jealousy to her bad qualities, and made her a figure of fear as well as of desire. So everybody, that's Circe.
Sexy Circe.
Thought of the name too. Think of a good name.
I know. I agree. What would she look like? Like, was any depictions of her?
Well, there are many depictions of her in art. You know, from Renaissance art up to the modern era, there's many depictions of her in art. But you know, I imagine she was Greek. She probably looked Greek.
Yeah. Dark hair.
Probably looked like a Greek. She looked like a Greek lady. Not the
Don't you just-
kind who works at the diner.
Sometimes you just feel like breaking out in song.
That's what you get. That's what you get around here. It's late at night. My mind is fried.
Oh, yeah. Shit.
That's what you get when you come here. You get some songs, baby. You get a song or two.
Really high pitched.
Oh, God.
I know, Pete. You've lost it.
I have.
You
It's just
have, my friend.
lost that love and feeling.
I know. I think so.
I need to take a walk in the rain with some guy playing the saxophone over a steam grate.
Jesus.
You belong to the city. You belong to the night. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, yeah.
What was that advertising? That was a commercial.
It's a commercial
I
for
don't doubt that.
Dynamic travel of November.
Probably for a car or some
Light
shit.
space. Please approach
Sounds
the
like a
station
good
at the
car
station
commercial
Commander.
song. Driving
That's
in the
a
night.
car commercial, sorry. That's a good
Speeding
song.
through some.
Permission authorized.
Yeah,
Thank
speeding
you
through
to
like
Landing Pad
downtown Manhattan or
3.
something. All the big buildings.
Sounds like Glenn Frey.
Glenn Frey?
Yeah.
I didn't remember. Excuse me, I gotta go direct a plane in.
Live in a river of darkness beneath the neon light. That's what they're talking about. I don't know what that's like. I've lived in the river of darkness beneath the neon lights. I was born
It's
in
like
the
the
city,
80s.
concrete under my feet. It's in my moves. It's in my blood. You're a man of the street. Then the saxophone comes
Landing
in.
gear deployed.
That
80s
saxophone is
romanticized
so
that,
80s. It's so 80s.
right? The 80s still romanticized living in the city.
It was a shithole back then.
Yeah, I know, but they romanticized it.
Oh,
You know,
they
with the
romanticize
songs and
everything.
yeah.
No, that's the opposite. Everything's
I remember as a
anti-romanticized.
teenager. I can remember as a teenager wanting to live like in New York and Hoboken in the artist district, you know, artsy fartsy area.
Mhm.
One day I'm gonna live there. Everybody's like, you can't afford to live there. I'm like, what? Yeah, it's expensive. Oh shit. There goes my dream. Thanks. Thanks a lot.
It's living everywhere is
there for
expensive anymore.
No kidding. Especially New York.
You know the
Holy
song "You
crap.
Belong to the City" peaked at number 2
Yeah.
on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 charts, behind Starship's "We Built This City," which is another great fucking jam.
I know. They were a good group back then. They were like, that was a good ticket to go see, you know, them. They were good.
Who
They were
stuck?
really good.
Sometimes you would get Grace Slick and sometimes you wouldn't, though.
Yeah, I know. It's strange. But yeah, you're right. You're right. I wonder why that was. Was she just
She's
out of
crazy.
commission? Yeah, okay.
She's another lunatic, burned out old ex hippie. I mean,
Mhm.
you know,
We know a couple of them now.
drinking and drugging and all the stuff that all the old ex hippies did.
Yeah, it's
Tripping is all that
surprised,
you do. Ba-boom, 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 ba-boom,
surprised they lived this long. Like Steven Tyler, Jesus Christ.
Oh, he looks like an old woman now.
I
He does
know.
look like an old woman.
He does. He looked like an old woman for a while. I'm reflecting on it right now. Shit.
No, Aerosmith's got some fucking jams though. Aerosmith's got a few of those jammers.
Oh man, they were great. They were great.
Like
They were
Angel.
definitely great.
Angel's a good tune.
Yeah, a bunch of them.
Love an Elevator.
Which anything off of Permanent Vacation, I can still kind of listen to from time to time. Then once you get into like what's it, like the 90s era, it's like
90s era. Every song's exactly the same.
Yeah,
Crazy, Crying, Amazing. They're all the same song.
exactly.
Well,
I think
many
so.
notes. There's only so many notes.
Mm-hmm.
There's only 8 notes. You know, you want to arrange them in so many ways. And there's no more.
The 80s,
hard
switch
to-
cocaine, romanticize human suffering, the allure of decadence and flamboyance, day glow. I'll keep the punk rock, the rest is trash, Jake Carr says. Well, I was just comparing like the comics industry and the independent stuff to punk rock, because the people out there taking over all that shit are the establishment now. They are the mainstream. They are the people out there trying to censor everything and tell us you can't do that. And I think we need a good punk rock movement to kind of come back in and clap back at the psychos.
Oh,
That's what we're doing. I mean,
yeah.
You need to start pressing 7 inches. That's what it comes down to.
yeah.
You get some 7 inches done. Do some split 7 inches, go on tour.
For old asses.
Yeah. Living in a van for 3 months sounds like a lot of fun.
That'd be horrible.
Yeah, but imagine like if they had to do that before smartphones and fucking Wi-Fi.
I can remember that.
Yeah.
I remember there was a band that was Jen and the Jenna tortures. There was a friends of hers asked if they could crash at our house, so we let them stay. The band was called Frigid Bitch. They stayed one night there, and then they went to another area and got a hotel. But one of the guys got really, really sick. He had pneumonia, and he actually called and asked me to help him, bring him to whatever. So I did, and he had pneumonia, and I let him stay with me for a couple of days till he healed up, because they were on a bus. How can you get well when you're on a bus
Right.
like that? Yeah, that would suck. And it being that far away from home. I was in Florida and they lived in California, for fuck's sake. I mean, it would take them, at least 3 days to get home alone,
Even putting it on a
Driving.
plane. Like when I came back from Vegas, I was so sick to death. I just wanted to get fucking home and
Yeah.
sleep. Oh, it was awful.
Poor guy, he slept for like 3 days on my couch. Frigid bitch. He had it tattooed on his head.
There's nothing nicer than getting to sleep for like 3 days.
He was sick of the dog, poor guy.
Really, if you're not sick and you just like, oh, I can sleep in, and oh, I can.
Oh my god, I know it's heaven. I don't remember the last
And I was
time
up till like 4 last night streaming Mario, streaming Paper Mario. Then I get up at like 10 or 9. I think I got up at like 9.
That's early.
Yeah, for me, when I'm up till 4.
Yeah, it's super early.
9:30. I think I was out of bed at 9:30. But I wasn't like up, but I was like up enough to get on, get my video set up.
Mm. Yeah, I passed out for a little bit, then I woke up, and I passed out, and back and forth. Try to get a few things done, but I was thinking I need to get some sleep. And then during the day, when you want to sleep, there's 15,000 billion scam telemarketers calling. Had the IRS call today. I don't know how many calls about my car warranty being out of service or out of date. I'm thinking to myself, yeah, because I sold my car.
Mm-hmm.
I can call on my phone. And it's not just on your cell phone, it's on the house phone too.